Chapter 1050. While speaking, Mrs. Brown asked in a low voice, "Alex, did you make that video on the internet? Did you find the children?" Alex smiled and said, "Mrs. Brown, you look down on me too much. How can I have such a great ability?" Mrs. Brown was silent for a moment, sighed, and said, "I watched the video. Ian seems to be dead. I really didn't expect this child to get this far." Alex also sighed. "I also watched the video. Ian himself took the wrong path. Mrs. Brown, don't be too sad." "I know." Mrs. Brown said melancholy. "I thought I would definitely walk in front of each of your children. I was still thinking that in the future, when I am old and pass away, you will be there. At my memorial service, give me a flower." Speaking of this, Mrs. Brown whispered softly, "I really didn't expect that a child would die in front of me nowadays. Ian, this child, too annoying, but what a pity." "Yeah," Alex said. "Mrs. Brown, don't think too much about it. I believe that Ian's incident will alert many people. His death may cause more people to correct their evils. The society has done a good thing." Mrs. Brown said, "You are right, Alex. Auntie will not tell you for now. I have to take care of the children who wake up. Another day, don't forget to come to the orphanage." "Good, Mrs. Brown." Alex hung up the phone, sighed, and walked into the house. At this moment, Hilton, who loves taking advantage very much, just got off my post. Their factory work requirements are very strict, and it is strictly forbidden to carry mobile phones during working hours. So he has no knowledge of what happened today and the numerous news feeds on the internet. After he got off work, he changed into his clothes in the changing room, took out his mobile phone, looked down and found that there were countless WeChat reminders. He opened WeChat curiously and found that the WeChat group of the original Welfare Institute had been fried. Up to now, there are more than 3,000 messages that I haven't read. He flipped to the top curiously and began to look down one by one. At the beginning, he saw 10 children lost in the orphanage. He didn't think it was so great. What does it have to do with him? You can't get a penny if you lose it, and you can't get a penny if you get it back. But when he looked down, he suddenly saw a video. He hurriedly clicked on the video and watched it curiously. Halfway through, he was struck by lightning. He did not expect that the person who stole 10 children from the orphanage would be Ian. Seeing Ian kneeling on the ground and repenting, Hilton couldn't understand it. How can someone like Ian steal the children of the orphanage, who can make double the profits in 1 week by operating a fund at random? Ian has a Audi and a Phaeton at his young age, which is so good in the eyes of excellence. He is the great god in his own eyes. Looking further back, Ian actually stood on the bridge, then shot to a headshot, turned over and fell into the river. Hilton was so scared that he dropped the phone. What the hell is going on? Ian is dead. He is dead. What about his money he borrowed? There are 500,000 loan sharks borrowed from the app. Isn't this taking your own life?